reading, psychic reading on the Nottway Plantation in New Orleans. Okay, so what I'm getting is you can actually see the spirits. Okay, the souls, the spirits of the slaves. Um, you can see their image. Okay, um, a lot of people can see it. I can see it, of course. Um, so who started this fire at this plantation? Okay, it's very interesting because a lot of plantations, I have been to a plantation, a lot of plantations are used as, and to me this is like a slap in the face. Okay, because a lot of plantations are used for weddings. Weddings are being held there. They're used as they're also being used as motels, hotels, um, tourist attractions, which they should be tourist attractions, but they're historical attractions where slaves once lived against their free will. Okay, remember I told you what's going on is spiritual. Okay, you're going to see a lot of things that are happening, and it's going to be like it's going to open your eyes wide open. Okay, so I was watching the video, people are posting it, um, and I was drawn to, out of all the spirits that I seen there, okay, I was drawn to the one by the tree. Okay, and I'm explaining what I'm seeing. Okay, so it looks like a man, a older man, and a woman and a child. Okay, oh man. Okay, there was a lot of things going on in this plantation, and we see this all through the South. There's plantations everywhere. Okay, now you got to understand that energy is transmuted, and transferred. Okay, even though they're not there in the physical form, in the spiritual form, energetically, they're still there in that space because they once was in that space. Okay, if this makes sense. Okay, this is just like when I was in Florida and I was on Seminole ground. Okay, when you're on Seminole ground or grounds where there were ceremonies performed or there was like a lot of deaths that were horrific, okay, or even ceremony spaces like indigenous ceremonies and stuff, what you would notice is when you step on the ground will feel different. Okay, it won't feel like you're actually stepping on the ground, if that makes sense. Okay, so it reminds me of a place in Florida where they built a fort. Okay, and the fort was called Fort White. It was against the and it had the natural springs. Okay, and my friend, she still has property there. Okay, and I'm gonna go back and tell you the story, and then I'm gonna forward to this plantation what I see that happened. Okay, so there's an old white man, right, and he lives in Fort White, and he kept seeing the spirits of the Seminole Indians. Okay, and everybody thought, because he was an old drunk, and everybody thought that he was just talking crazy because he was a old white man that was drinking and he was drunk. But so I went to visit my friend, um, and she was telling me the story about him, right? So I was like, let me see for myself. So we went to the springs, we went all around, and I could feel the Seminole Indians there. Okay, um, but okay, so I'm gonna get there. So I went to visit the man. He was sitting in the front porch. Okay, it was a small home, and it was, you can, the Seminoles that was on that land, um It was ceremony land and it was also burial land. Okay. So as soon as I stepped foot on his property, I could feel my feet wasn't touching the actual ground. Okay. So I knew right away that that was sacred land. Okay. If that makes sense. What I was picking up. Okay. Now he was telling the truth. And then another story, let me see another story. Okay, I was on that plantation in Georgia. Okay, um, and when I drove up to the plantation on the right hand side, that is where um, the slave, the the slave, I guess the slave houses would have been, and also there was a cemetery, an unmarked cemetery. Okay, and I got that right away. Okay, and the same thing that I got on um, the crazy white man. They used to call him the crazy white man, but there was really Indians that was they were tormenting him. Okay, they wanted him off the land, but he's that land has been passed down from generation to generation, and that land is worth a lot of money. Okay, because it has natural springs. Okay, so when at the time that they bought this land in Fort White, Florida, it was the land wasn't expensive. Okay, now the land is expensive, so you can't even go into the community. Okay, because the natural springs and the manatees. Okay, so let's talk about the plantation. Okay, so out of everybody that was on that plantation that I seen, okay, I'm doing great. So everybody on that plantation that I seen, that I was that I was pulled to psychically the most was that tree. The it looked like, I don't know if it was a grandmother or grandfather or a mother or a father, and I seen two children. Okay, they were actually people being hung on that tree. Okay, um, so what I seen was, oh my God, all the spirits that you can see, it was unreal and it was so powerful. Okay, so you're going to be seeing a lot of plantations being burnt down. Okay, I'm telling you guys, you're going to see it because the people that live there are angry. Okay, because there was death on plantations. Not just death, there was also horrific, horrific. When I talk about horrific, I can't even put it into words. Horrific that the black slaves, what they had to endure. Okay, and this is a stain in America. This is a stain in Africa. And this is something energetically, spiritually, that has to be addressed and is not really ever addressed because they're just like, oh, there was just slavery. But there is so many dynamics to slavery. Okay, there was so many. To me, it's like um, the evilness. Okay, and then there was the slaves were so angry, you guys. I mean, so angry. I don't know if somebody summoned, because that the one by the tree, um, they were the most angry. Okay, so it looked like to me, I don't know if it was a mother, a father, a grandfather. All I know was it was a female. She kind of looks like she was in her 30s. And then there was a man. He kind of looks a little bit older. And then there was two children. And it looks like, I don't know if they hung all four of them. But mostly the man, I mean, he was really angry. And the woman was very angry. Okay. So what we're seeing. So how did the fire start? okay? A lot of people also go to these plantations. They spend a night at night and they do all kinds of like ghost hunting, ghost hauntings. And when they're doing this, um, they want to talk to the people that live there, okay? But some of these people that, especially on plantations, okay, I'm just saying, um, they were angry at the slave owners. So if you're white and you think you could just go on these plantations and do some ghosts, like talk to these spirits, okay, they're not going to be friendly to you, okay, because of what was happening to them and who put this. The slave owners was, and some of the slave owners were mulattoes, some of the slave owners were black, okay, so it depends on what plantation you're on and what the history of that plantation, okay, because in Louisiana they had a lot of, and I'm also seeing this girl, she looks like she's was she let me slow down, she looks like she would look like me, mulatto, okay, and and it's interesting because I'm seeing some kind of paper, and like, you know how they used to keep track of the slaves, like animals, and they had her down as mulatto, but she worked in the house, okay, and then I'm seeing her walk through the house, and she drops. It looks like, you know how they used to carry the old oh my goodness, like they would have the candles and they would walk through the house, and it's like she just like threw it, okay? Like literally like threw it, okay? And she looks like she's mulatto, okay? And it's like their energy was still stuck there, okay? It was like something like to free their energy. It's bizarre, but it's true, okay? It may sound crazy, okay? But it's like what I see, okay? Like she was holding it, she was walking through it, and she probably was a house slave because she was mulatto. I don't know, okay? And she just threw it, okay? And the whole house just caught on fire, okay? But the ones that I seen the most anger from was her. She looked about 15 or 16, and then the two that were outside with the two children, okay, by the tree, okay? And they used to hang people on that tree. They used to beat people on that tree. You guys gotta understand that trees carry energy. Okay, not just that. Trees are a protector. Okay, you can just tell the tree in front of your house to protect your home, and it will protect your home. Okay, just saying. Okay, if you know, you know. Okay, so anyways, I see her just taking the candle, okay, and just throwing it. Okay, this is what I'm getting. I don't need no shells. I don't need no cards. She was walking, and I'm hearing the footsteps, and I'm seeing her, and she just threw the candle, like literally just threw it. Okay, and she's not even here in the physical; she's in the spiritual. But she just threw that shit. Okay, and she burned that whole motherfucker down. Okay, this is what I'm getting, and it's like people are happy um that it happened at the plantation, but a lot of these plantations have insurance, okay? But it's not the physical, how can I say it? It's more spiritual than physical, okay? Because of what was done there and how people are going to these slave plantations and they're making a mockery out of the people that once lived there and had to endure the shit that they had to endure. And then you have people visiting these plantations, and they're summoning these spirits. So you have to be careful when you go to these plantations. And because in Louisiana a lot of plantations were owned by mulattoes, okay? I don't know who owned this plantation, but they don't, the husband looks, the person that okay, I don't know nothing about the plantation. I didn't research it. I don't, all I know it was in Louisiana. So what I'm seeing is the husband was white, and the wife kind of looks like mulatto to me. Okay, it's bizarre. Okay, and then the girl, the young girl that threw the candle. Okay, she just threw it, and this is what I'm seeing in the spiritual. Um, she was mulatto. Okay, and I feel like energetically these spirits, these souls, even though they're free, they're still angry, okay, of what happened. Okay, so you're gonna see plantations burning. And another thing is, because if you look in like the South, if you've been to the South, I've lived in the South, okay, there's altars of, these statues are actually altars, okay, and they're angry, okay, and they're angry of what happened to them. And so what I was drawn to the most psychically, and this is so amazing because I can see everybody, and I can see everybody, okay, and it is so many of them, okay, and they're all like, they're in the house while the house is burning, they're outside on the porch, they're by the tree, they're in the front lawn. I mean, it's so amazing what I've seen, but they all came together. And the one that I see start the fire psychically, okay, is the mulatto girl, okay. Now I don't know what happened to her that was so traumatic where she was like, I'm gonna light this bitch on fire, okay. I'm seeing something like she was taken advantage of, if this makes sense, by the slave owner, okay? And the slave owner, he looks white. I see him in a cream shirt with a white jacket and the white pants. And then I see the woman of the house, okay? I feel like she passed away early. So this would be his wife, okay? Now, I don't know, you guys, I didn't do no research on this. I don't know nothing about the people that own this plantation. Um, but this is what I'm picking up psychically, okay? So the husband wife passed away early. This is what I'm seeing. And he had a mulatto young girl working in the house, okay? And she's the one that set that bitch on fire, okay? So that is what I'm getting, you guys. Oh my goodness. But this is a read that I got on the plantation that was set on fire. And some people are saying that somebody set the plantation on fire for insurance money. Um, and then some people say, how can a spirit set the house on fire? Spirits can do many things. They can move objects. You'll put an object in one location. They can move it to another location. They can flicker lights. Um, they do it all the time, okay. When I was on that in Fort White with the white guy that kept seeing the Seminole Indians, they were tormenting him on purpose, okay. And when I got on the ground, I can see them. They were right there, like they were there, like I was seeing them on the physical, okay, which they were there in the spiritual, okay. And I told the granddaughter, I was like, you guys remember I was telling you guys a story in the past. I was like, they're really here. Like, he's not lying, okay? He's really seeing them, okay? But he's opened to see them because of the alcohol, okay? And then everybody thinks he is crazy, but he's not really crazy. He can really see these spirits, okay, of the natives, and they taunt him and haunt his ass, okay, because they want him off their land, okay. This land is where ceremonies were performed. This land was where burial sites were. But it's very interesting, the slave plantations. But when you go to a slave plantation, and it's okay to like, you have to be careful because some slave plantations, um, if you want to say they're cursed in some kind of way because the spirits are not at rest, then that's what you can say. Okay, 133. But wow, what I seen was like, wow, it was like in real time. And I was drawn to the tree. It's symbolic. Okay, and then also when I was at that slave plantation in Georgia, when I got on that plantation, I can feel eyes on me. Okay, but they weren't. It was like the people that worked the grounds was even scared. Okay, but the eyes that were on me were in the spiritual realm, and I had to go to that plantation. Okay, I passed that plantation so many times, and for some reason that day they were like, come here. Okay, so I had to go there. Okay, and then it was the most, also the most bizarre experience, that plantation in Georgia. It was so freaking bizarre. Either the way the woman was acting, that worked on the grounds, the groundskeepers were like, they were so weird. Okay, it was kind of like, let me describe it. It was bizarre. It was like, looking back at it, I don't know, because I'm looking at that one white woman that was on the grounds of that plantation, and it was like they were trying to talk to me, the slaves, to tell me their story, but also tell me what was going on nearby. Because remember when I left that slave plantation and I said that, yes, I was drawn to that slave plantation, but what I was really drawn to was that children's home. You guys remember? There was a children's home when you first entered that plantation, and then behind the children's home there was a church, and then the plantation was on the one side. Okay, but I was drawn, and looking back at it, when I looked at her eyes when I got onto that plantation, that white woman's eyes, um yes, this is a, remember the one I posted in Georgia. Okay, there was a first white woman that I encountered. Okay, when I first pulled in, I encountered her, and I need to slow down, right? Because like, it's just like what I seen today with that plantation was like, wow, it was amazing because you can actually see all of them together. But let me slow down. So when I went to that plantation in Georgia, thinking back at it, so when I got there and when I seen the first grounds, she was the first groundskeeper. Okay, looking back at it, it was the most bizarre experience I had. Okay, because it didn't seem right. And what I mean, it didn't seem right is the house was weird. Okay, like the house wasn't. Remember when I said that they had to, the house, that house actually I think burnt down or something, and then they rebuilt the house, but it was like the house just appeared. So okay, well, let me back up. It was like that house was not there until I went there that day. It's like that house just appeared, because the original house on that plantation was burnt down. Okay, the original house. So I'm looking back at it. It's like when I met the groundskeeper and I looked at her, look her in the eyes. Remember I said she looked like she was scared. It was a weird feeling, but they had to show me what was going on. You guys, I was so weirded out. The drive that I took from that plantation, I couldn't process it, okay, because it was like so bizarre. It was like the house wasn't even there until I got to that plantation, okay? But it was like, yes, they have died on that plantation. It was like that house just appeared, okay? And it was like that lady that I first encountered, it was like she was scared, but it wasn't like it was really her. Okay, so I don't know if she was the woman I seen on the grounds was really the grounds lady. Okay, she could have been one of the slaves. Okay, because when I looked her in the eyes, it was like she was scared, but it was like she was scared. Like, remember I said it's like she's seen some shit. Okay, so whew. So she appeared to me as a groundskeeper. Okay, she was a white woman. Okay, but looking back at it, it was a slave woman. Okay, and it was like the house wasn't there. It was like when I got there, the house appeared. Okay, it was the most bizarre experience. Okay, it was like, okay, say you go somewhere and you're driving down the road and you never see the house. You driving down the road. You drive down this road all the time. Okay, and there's not a house sitting there. Okay, there's no house sitting there. Okay, and then one day you drive down the road and you see this house sitting there. Okay, that's what it felt like. Okay, but they were trying to tell me what was going on in the children's home. Okay, because when I left out of there, when I first went past the children's home, I seen this old black woman. She was pointing to the children's home, right? I looked at her and then I just kept going, but she wasn't there in the physical realm. She was there in the spiritual realm. So then I just went to the plantation, and then when I got out of the plantation, she stopped me again, and she was pointing to that children's home. Okay, remember when I was there at the plantation? So what they were trying to tell me is what was going on in that children's home. Okay, and then behind the children's home, there was a church. Okay, so the children's home that is by that plantation is a children's home for like orphanages, for orphan kids or foster kids or something like that. Okay, but they were trying to get my attention on that children's home. So this is bizarre, but it was like that house wasn't there. Okay, it's like that house appeared there that day when I got there. It was the most bizarre experience. And then when you get on the plantation, there's like a church, okay, and you go in the church and they have all these pictures of. They have like a little museum where they have the cotton and the rice. So I was touching the rice, I was looking at the cotton, I was taking pictures, and then when I got into the church 144, when I got into the church, they were like, you have to watch this slideshow, okay? And the slideshow was like of the slaves that worked on the rice fields, okay? And it was so fucking bizarre. Like, looking back at it, when I went into that church that was where the office was, like, I should have ran. Because the reason why I say I should have ran is because the whole experience was the most bizarre experience I ever experienced. And I asked myself, even when I left, like, I kept asking myself, was this shit even real? Was slavery even real? Like, was this shit really even real? Because it didn't feel real. Okay, 144. Okay, 144. They keep saying 144. Okay, so when I looked at the groundskeeper, remember I said in the video that I did that day, I have to go back. She looked like she was freaked out, like she was like scared, like she's seen some shit. Okay, so looking back at it, she appeared as a white woman, but I don't believe she was a white woman. Okay, but and then they had that circle. Okay, it's interesting that they had that circle, and I'm like, was that circle there? So were they doing like and remember the slaves would do what was called a rain dance, okay? So when they did the rain dance, they were like calling on the ancestors when they did the rain dance. So I was like, that it looked like a pit, like, like you would have like a big ass circle, like a big circle, and it was like a pit inside of it, okay? And they call it the rain dance. But why would a plantation put a pit so they can dance around the pit? Okay, it was the most bizarre experience I ever had. And it was like the house wasn't even there, like the house appeared out of nowhere, okay? Like, for real. But they had to show me it. It was like they had to show me the house, they had to show me certain stuff. And then that the where the office was, there was a church. It was the most bizarre experience I ever experienced, okay? um Bizarre. But the main thing that they were trying to show me was that children's home, okay? 144. And I don't know what's going on in that children's home, okay? I don't know, but there's something that's not right that's going on, and it's for entertainment purposes. But that plantation, that girl that was in that house, the mulatto, she burnt that shit down, okay? um and she was freeing some energetic trauma that happened on that land. And then people go to these slave plantations, and they go there and they have weddings on these slave plantations. I mean, it's just crazy. It's an insult to me, okay? I mean, if you are a African American, okay, I can see that. But and the ones that are here now, I mean, they didn't enslave us, okay? But it was the ones before them. But some of them have the same mentality as the slave masters, okay? It's just a different generation, okay? But yes, so I was drawn to that tree, the man, the woman, the two children, and I was drawn to that mulatto girl that was in that house, okay? And the owner of the house was a Caucasian male, and his wife looks like she's mulatto. She died earlier. She died early, okay? Um, and I don't know no history on this plantation, you guys, none. But I just want to come on here and tell you what I was picking up psychically. Um, is that the plantation you post? No, I'm gonna post the plantation. Somebody says, my daughter misplaced a set of money. Can I have a reading? Yes, you guys can go to, somebody says, my daughter misplaced a set of money. Can I have a reading? Yeah, you can go to my bio. I don't feel like she misplaced the money. Dolly Ann Moore. I don't feel like she misplaced the money. I feel like somebody took the money. Okay. Is this plantation? Yes, it's the plantation that was I guess it was burnt down. And what's interesting is, was it burnt down on a full moon? Okay. Because a lot of people go to these plantations and they do all kinds of seance and rituals. And the thing is, you better know the spiritual realm when you go to these plantations and you wake up these people. Because when I tell you, baby, you don't know what happened on these plantations, okay? I mean, there was murder, there was SA. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff that happened. They keep showing me 144. Okay, so 144. They talk about 144 as the chosen people. Okay, the real chosen people. That's why they hate the melanated people, the black people, so much, because they are the chosen people. They are the original. They are the creators. They are the original people. This is why they suffered so much. Okay, this is why they were enslaved, because they were the ones that were here first. They were the true Israelites. Wow. Okay. But you guys, it's like that house. I'm just thinking about it. Cause like when I left that plantation, I couldn't stop thinking about that plantation. And I couldn't even, and I had, like, I might have to go revisit it. It was like the house of that plantation was not even there. Like it just, like, it was like it just appeared when I got there. And I would had to be shown what I had to be shown. Okay. And now looking back at it, the woman that I first encountered, the one that worked the grounds, she appeared as a groundswoman, but I don't believe she was a groundswoman. I believe she was one of the slaves. Okay. And I'm just even thinking about it, because even when I was on the plantation, it was like I could feel eyes that were on me. Okay. It was, I'm telling you guys. And there's one plantation I really want to visit so bad. It's in South Carolina. Okay. I want to get to that plantation in South Carolina. It's one of the biggest plantation in the Carolinas. And I think people also have weddings there. All these plantations, like, should be historical sites. Okay, people shouldn't be having weddings at these plantations unless you're this descendants of the ancestors that were enslaved on that plantation. Um, and they make a mockery of the slaves that were had to endure the shit that they had to endure. Okay, just saying. But I didn't do no research on this plantation. I was drawn to the girl. I'm trying to see if she'll give me her name. Um, she was beautiful. She kind of looked like me. She was mulatto. Beautiful girl. Okay, beautiful. And then the ones that the two by the tree and the two children, I don't know if they were all murdered. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because it's like all of them were murdered. Okay, under that tree. Okay, it's bizarre. Okay, but yeah, I was at the slave plantation. That's where they get the rain dance from. The Africans brought the rain dance over. They're the ones that taught them how to grow the rice. But just thinking about that plantation, you guys, I mean, when I left that plantation, I'm still thinking about that. And I still got the wood from the trees of that plantation. And I'm looking at it right now. And it was like the house wasn't even freaking there. It was like it just appeared there. It was the most strangest thing. And they had to tell me about malaria. They had to tell me about all kinds of stuff. And then they also, that church, it was a church. It was like the most bizarre shit. And then the that children's home, they kept, that old woman kept pointing to that church. It was like she was standing on, when you come off the road in Georgia, it's in Georgia, it's like crossing the Florida Georgia line. um the plantation, I'll put the name of the plantation. And when I first drove past, she's standing there pointing to that children's home. I didn't see it in the video, okay? And then when I left, she was still pointing to that damn children's home. And that's why I stopped at the children's home, and I sat there and I did a live video that day of that freaking children's home, because they were trying to tell me that there's something going on in that children's home for entertainment purposes, okay? And then you can't even, like, you can't even get in there because they have security. And then you can actually can actually see the church behind the children's home. Okay, this is the most bizarre. Okay, but this is what I'm getting on that plantation that burnt down. She burned that bitch down. Okay. um. So yes, the lady that asked about the misplaced money. The money wasn't misplaced. Somebody took the money. Okay. If you want a reading, you go to Jennifer Felix readings. It's under my bio. Okay. But thank you guys for joining me. I just had to talk about the plantation because, man, if you've seen the spirits that was there, it's freaking real. And I tell you guys all the time, like, when you can see them, you can see them. Okay. I mean, and they're becoming so visible to even people that can't see. Okay. Somebody says Allie C is missing. Oh, Allie Carter. Um, Allie Carter is very interesting. Allie Carter is interesting that I was going down my YouTube, okay, and I seen Allie Carter. I guess it was with Will Smith, and Will Smith was, I guess he was at awards or something, and Allie Carter, he moved to the side so Allie Carter can be seen. Um, Allie Carter is very interesting. I did read on Allie Carter. Now, Allie Carter is with a white woman, and the white woman that she's with, what I was picking up psychically is some kind of cult, some kind of white supremacist cult. It's in her past, she was the woman she's with that if you think about Allie Carter is a victim because this white woman lied to her, made her promises, is like her partner, but Allie Carter was a young girl when she met her. She was very vulnerable, and that older white woman took advantage of her. But she just didn't take advantage of her. She took advantage of other children. Okay, and Allie Carter was vulnerable. Okay, and I did a read on Allie Carter. I did a read on Allie Carter's mother, how she was. Go back to my read I did on Allie Carter's mother because she presents herself one way, but she's not that way. Okay, and then the white woman I said that Allie Carter was with, it's like she is the white woman's in a cult. Okay, and it's like a white supremacist religious type cult. Okay, and if you look at Allie Carter's mouth, it's like they have her. When you smoke weed doesn't make your mouth like that. Okay, so I don't know what kind of substance they're giving her, Allie Carter, because it kind of looks like somebody like that's on like a crackhead. You know how a crackhead's mouth is all like. We've seen this with what's name's daughter. What's her the one that passed away, the singer. She passed away, and her daughter came on and was asking for money for a GoFundMe fund. They have her on some kind of drugs. Okay, she's like an addict. Okay, and I feel like they put her on, like they got her addicted and hooked to these drugs. Do I feel like Allie Carter was? I'm seeing a contract with Allie Carter. Like, you know how it's like a servitude contract. Okay, so a servitude contract, what I'm seeing, and I've seen this before, it's like, okay, like, you know, in slavery times when they used to they would let the slave masters take one of their slaves and help them with like labor, or something like that, but it wasn't the labor you think. Okay, So it's kind of like a slave servitude contract that families can take in these people like Ally Carter, um, and they have to sign a contract. It's bizarre. Okay, it's freaking bizarre. So at one point, Ally Carter was with, because if you see how Will Smith intentionally showed Ally Carter's face, okay, and that came down my feed today. I don't feel like she's not here. I don't feel like her spirit has crossed. I feel like she's still here. Um, and you got to understand that she was talking about so much stuff because she was exposed to it. She knows the ins and outs, okay? And her life is, if you think about it, she's in danger because first of all, the woman she's with is false. Remember I told you her energy's false? That white woman, the white woman that she's with, I can't remember her name. Okay? There's something about her that screams um a caught a caught like some kind of a caught. And then what's so interesting is, remember that video that she had Allie on the floor? Remember that? And Allie was like acting like an animal. It was the most bizarre thing. Like she was like Allie was acting like a child. It was bizarre, okay? It was kind of, to me, energetically, what I was picking up psychically, it was like a humiliation ritual, okay? And remember, she was on the floor and she was rocking like this, and then people were saying like they're faking some stuff. Um, it was like they're putting Allie out there, um, and traumatizing her over and over and over again, okay? It's crazy. And it's like a cult. So the woman she's with, remember I said, she gives me a cult vibes. Okay. White cult vibes. Okay. Um, and I've always said this from day one, that that woman that she's with is not right. She's false. And she was having a relationship with Allie. Like, you know how a man and a woman would have a relationship, or a female and female would have a relationship, and Allie was young when she met her. But I think Allie's like in her 30s now. So I don't feel like Allie Carter has crossed. I feel like right now there's so much going on with the P. Diddy case. And right now a lot of celebrities are scared because when the truth comes out, what they have been doing, okay, as far as the children, okay, um, they're trying to, you haven't seen those celebrities, okay, or they're in hiding, okay. The reason why they're in hiding is because their secrets are going to come out, okay. When their secrets come out, okay, and they don't want their secrets to come out, so some people will do what they can for their secrets not to come out, okay. um okay, but I don't feel like she has crossed. Okay, I don't feel like she has crossed. I feel like she has not crossed. Okay, let's put it like that. She has not crossed, and I pray to God that she gets away from that white woman, because I'm telling you guys, that white woman don't mean no. She does not mean no well for Allie. If you see Allie's lips, she looks like she is drugged out, okay? And normally when your lips are looking like that, that's like some heavy drugs, okay? It's not no like weed. Those lips look like, and I pray that, I hope I'm wrong, okay? And then that one video of Allie, that video where people said that she was pretending on that video, where she was like in a fetus position. It was kind of like a humiliation ritual, okay? Where she was in that fetal position and she was doing this rocking back and forth. It was bizarre, okay? So freaking bizarre. And the white woman that's with her is taking money from people because people feel sorry for Allie Carter. But if she really wants to help Allie Carter, um, if she really wants to help Allie Carter, I don't feel like I'm telling you guys, telling you, and I'm telling you, that woman is false. It's like some kind of cult. It's bizarre, and it's some kind of cult where it's like contracts, like servitude contracts. It's like slave contracts. Okay, it's the most bizarre shit I've ever seen. It's like you can go to this family for a year kind of contract, or you can go with this family for 3 months, and then another family will take you with another contract. It's the most bizarre shit that I've ever seen. And I see that with Allie Carter. Okay, yes, her adopted mom. Yes, that woman, I'm telling you guys, she is not who she says she is. She's given, since the beginning, I've said this, you guys, I've did readings on this. This woman is not who you think she is. Remember when I said when she met Allie, Allie was young, okay? I don't know if she met this, remember, if go back to my videos, I don't know if I said she met her in school, she was a counselor, something like that. But she came into other contact with other children. And you know, the most craziest thing is that the mother said something that was true, because some of the shit the mom was saying was not true, but some, because the mother wanted money too. But the one thing the mother said that was true was there was another girl that went missing. And Allie was saying that she was luring boys and girls in for this occult, okay? Which she was. Her name is Shelly, yes. She was. They will send girls, and Allie was saying that she was, I don't know if she said it, but this is what I'm seeing. Like, she would get other people, like she would go out there and find girls that were vulnerable, find boys that were vulnerable, and lure them in, and then they would have to work for this occult. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. Okay, so her hands fully clean? No. Okay, was she manipulated? Yes. Is Shelly like her pimp? Yes. Or madame? Yes. Is she on some kind of drugs? Yes. And I don't care what nobody says. This video is for entertainment purposes. But I've seen this from day one. If you look at her lips are like a crackhead white lips. Okay. So I don't know what kind of drugs they have her on. But they have her on some alter stating drugs. And I can't really I can't really say where I see Allie. But she is being protected. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Okay, because I'm actually seeing who she's with, and I'm seeing the letters on their jackets. Okay. Yeah, it's super dry. It's like, even like, you know how back then in like in the 70s and 80s we would see crackheads, even like I don't come across crackheads, but I'm just saying, like, you would go into an inner city and you would see like somebody like asking for money, and you could tell they were like on some drugs and stuff. And it don't even look like it's like she's smoking weed, okay? Because weed doesn't make your lips dry and white like that, okay? Yeah, something's not right with Allie Carter, and Shelly is false, but I see. Let me put it like this: I see her protected, and I see her somebody that wears a blue jacket with with it's like yellowish letters on it, and it's 3 letters. Yeah, somebody says Allie has many altered personalities. I mean, you gotta understand, she's been taken at an early age. She was pimped out. She was given out to certain families. How? Why? I mean, and you expect her to be normal? And somebody says she's faking some of it. I do feel like that Shelly is pushing her to ask for funding from people, and it's like a kind of like Shelly's the pimp. It's bizarre. Okay, like Shelly's her pimp. But you know how they call female pimps madams? Okay, that's what I'm seeing. But I'm seeing her with I really can't say. All I'm going to say is they wear blue jackets and they have yellow on their jackets, and it's 3 words. That's what I'm going to say. No, Allie's not. If you notice when Allie's in that van with Allie, Shelly, and the grandmother, that would be Shelly's mother. There's something not right with Shelly. Okay, Shelly and her mother. Okay, Shelly is in a, it's like a cult, okay, but it's like a white supremacist cult. So when you think of white supremacist cults, what do you think of? You think of like like bikers type cults, or like Nazi type cults. It's bizarre, okay. But something interesting the mother said, and it's always stuck with me. And as soon as the mother said it, it was just like, it got my attention, okay. She said that there was another girl that Allie was hanging around with, that the girl went missing. They never found the girl. Okay, so where the fuck is the girl at? Okay. Allie knows, Shelly knows. So where's that girl? Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, this video is for entertainment purposes. But yes, a lot of people have been donating to Allie and Shelly. And where's the money going? And they're always being pulled over by police. Always being pulled over by police, which would make sense because she has a lot of information, and she's been outing the California uh, foster system where she went missing from. So she's been outing those people for so long, and nobody really has been paying attention to what she. I mean, people are paying attention. They're sympathizing with her, but there's more to Allie's story. Okay, because think about it. Yes, I don't. Yes, she was given to different families. Okay, I also see this with. Remember when Madonna adopted those African kids? Okay. Somebody says Allie isn't asking for money. Well, Shelly, if you they are asking for money, because how are they surviving? Shelly's not working no job. And then that video of her rocking, I mean, it's the most bizarre video, okay? It's like a humiliation ritual. And she's sharing it with the whole world. So if you're really trying to help Allie Carter, why are you showing a video of her? And even if she's acting, like, why would you show a video of that? Like, and of course she's going to be in altered states of reality, and altered states of personality, because there has been things that she's the thing somebody says like she's lying and stuff. When I pick up her energy, Some things are true and some things are not, but she's not lying because you can see the different personalities, okay? And you've seen her in the video at awards. It just came down my feed today where Will Smith is talking and he's laughing and joking and he moves aside and Allie Carter is behind him. And then she's talking to some woman that obviously has like a microphone on that works for the whatever awards they were at, okay? So was she working that day? Of course. Was she? And my question is, Will Smith, did you have a contract on Allie Carter? I'm just saying, okay? Because she was behind Will Smith, okay? And then she was also in the video with Jay-Z. So at one point, did she have a contract with Jay-Z and Beyonce's family? Okay, I'm just saying, okay? Somebody says her rocking video is when her alter was reacting during a bath. I saw the whole video 3 years ago. Yeah, that was bizarre. And my thing is, if Shelly wanted to protect her, why even put that video out there? Because she was like, I need to put this video out there so you guys can see what I go through. But you're the one that made false promises to a child. Okay? It's crazy. Okay? So, do I think Shelly should be arrested? Yes, I think she should be arrested and charged. And I think she should be arrested and charged with messing with minors. Because when she met Allie was a minor. And she keeps saying that Allie was 18. Allie was younger than 18. Okay? So she should be charged for pedophilia. She should also be charged for, and Shelly, if you see my video, you should be charged with these crimes, okay? Because you're not helping Allie Carter, okay? You're the reason why she's where she's at, because obviously the girl looks like she's on some kind of substance, okay? So who asked Shelly to help Allie? Think about it, you guys. And who really is Shelly? You got to ask yourself, who is Shelly? When you see Shelly, what's the first thing you pick up from Shelly? I pick up two things from Shelly. One thing I pick up from Shelly, informed agent. Second thing I pick up, I'm talking about government agent. Okay? Okay, we're not talking about handler. We could say handler, but government agents. If you ever watch Shelly, the way she acts is very manly, and she also acts like she has some kind of military experience. That's why I believe also that what's name was MK Ultra, okay, Allie. Okay? If you ever watch the way she moves, it's kind of like somebody you see in the military. Okay? Yes, a handler. Okay? A pimp. But with military training. Okay? Military. That's the first thing I pick up on her. The second thing I pick up on her is a caught. Okay? Caught. Yes, Shelly was researching and working for CPS. But was she working for CPS through a company, or was she working through CPS as an independent contractor through CPS? And the researcher, was she a government researcher? That's what you need to ask. Because that's what I was picking up from her. I was picking up, let me sit up. I was picking up government. I was picking up some kind of military. And I was picking up handler, pimp, whatever you want to call it. So who is Shelly? Question mark. Who's really Shelly? Okay. Who really is she? Okay, because that's what I was picking up. Yes, Shelly was working for CPS, but my question is, was she working for CPS in the state of California under a school, um or something, or was she working as an independent contractor for CPS? Okay, because that's what I was getting. And I was getting some kind of military background. Okay, the reason why I say some kind of military background is the way, oh, somebody says not independent, is because the way she was, the way she sits, her mannerisms. Okay, it gives me military. um and it gives me like they're in a relationship vibe, which we already know that, but that's her girlfriend. Okay, but my thing is, it gives me the first thing I get off of her psychically is military. Second thing I get off of her is like a cult type shit, like she's in some kind of cult. Okay. And somebody says Shelly was working for CPS. So my question is, CPS is Children Protective Services, right? This is for entertainment purposes, okay? So, who hired her for Child Protective Services? Okay? Because what I'm picking up is some kind of military operation, some kind of military background. I don't know if she served in the military. I don't know, okay? But the first thing I picked up on her is some military, that she is exploiting Allie Carter in some capacity, and also Allie is on something, because obviously if you look at her lips, that's not normal, okay? So yes, if you want to say handler or madame or pimp, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, she was rocking in the video. Um, and to me, that was like a humiliation ritual, like trying to humiliate her. Okay. And it was also a message. It was bizarre. It's like humiliation and also a message for whoever they want the message to get to. Okay. That's what I was getting. Okay, you guys. Wow. That's a lot. And this is for entertainment purposes. Okay. All right. I don't feel like she's not here. But I do feel like she's in some kind of protective, and they have blue jackets on, and they have the letters on their back of their jackets, in yellow, and it's 3 letters. Okay, that's where I see her and who she's with. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, and this is all for entertainment purposes. Somebody says they are stressed beyond belief, constantly have to move around in the car since their home was taken away. And my thing is, yes, their home was taken away. Yes, they have to move around. Yes, they were pulled over and all this stuff. And people say that they're acting, okay? They're putting on a show, right? But think about it. If Allie was really, how does she have all this information? Okay? You're not going to get this information. Allie's not psychic, okay? So how is she getting this information? It's not like some young girl that just comes across this information and somebody's feeding her this information, okay? She knows too much, okay? So she experienced some of the things that she went through, okay? So this is what I'm getting, you guys. And we need to continue to pray that she truly gets some kind of help that she needs, okay? Because she really does need help. But also, Shelly needs to be charged, okay? And then I also see another girl here that I guess went missing. So where's that girl at, okay? This video is for entertainment purposes, you guys. This is Jennifer Felix, and I'm signing off, okay? Ashe.